Hey, Courtney. We're so close to season now. Just curious, general question to how you're feeling about this team as we're getting so close.
Well, I feel really good about it. It's nice to be back. Um, and I feel like we're in a good spot. Right now, I feel more like we're like seeing where the weather's at of like what days we're gonna get out. We're getting the cold front that everyone's getting. And so just making sure that we get what we need to outside. We're also really lucky we have our indoor, but yeah, this team they've been really fun to coach. And so, this past week has been no different. I'm just really excited that we're back ready to work together and getting ready in these next 4 weeks to go to battle.
For your returners, how do you feel like the way that last season ended has maybe settled with them, like getting ready for another season, how they've taken maybe just that abrupt ending?
Yeah, I think I think it's been a motivation for this group, especially through the fall. I think we felt that a little bit more at the start of fall, but this team is so different than last year's team that it's like a little bit of motivation. And then we have new players that are like, let's freaking go, like it doesn't matter what's happened. And so I think it's just a healthy amount of, um, just a healthy amount of motivation, I guess. There's no other word for it. It's so far in the rearview mirror that it's like kind of a mood issue at this point. But I also think it's a snapshot of what this sport is, where you can just like put all your weight in what the year was in the last weekend, whereas it was a really great year. The team never really fired, and they still put together a really great season. And so it's just making sure that we're learning from what we need to learn from, and then also taking the really great things from last year and moving those forward as well.
And last thing I got is you mentioned that there's so much newness and energy from players that are just kind of ready to go. Who are some maybe names that if people don't know their name now because they haven't played for the Razorbacks that you think will make a pretty immediate impact?
Well, we have quite a few. So, I mean, the first one's Ella Mcdowell. If you don't know her name yet, you haven't been paying attention. And she's one that's gonna just immediately, she's put herself in a leadership position. You can tell if you watch her, play one pitch, or if you watch her play one game, she's special. She just has that special factor to her. You're gonna love her. There's a long list. We just added Courtney Day at the break. So her first day with the team was last Tuesday. For someone that hasn't taken a lot of reps in over a year, she looks really good. She's fit in seamlessly with our team. That's what our team does, is they just welcome anybody with open arms. They know anytime we add someone, they add value and they are going to make us better. And so that's been really great to see. Obviously, Carly Davison, Kaylee Wyckoff, those two transfers that have been Razorbacks for a fall. It feels like they've been here forever. They fit in so well. And our freshman class, besides Ella, we have Cam Harrison, we have Peyton Burnham, we have Ramsey Walker, we have Ava Carter, we have Jaden Ramos. Like our freshman class is very talented. And you're going to get to know them very quickly.
Thanks, Courtney.
Mhm.
Next question.
Can I ask one?
Yep, go ahead, Robin.
Awesome. Hi, Coach. So obviously, with the new additions, you have a lot of returners like Bree Ellis and Kennedy Miller. What do they kind of bring back to your team, not just in the field but also in the lineup?
Well, they're really good. So it's nice that they've been there and they've done that. They're experienced. They're seasoned. They just add so much perspective to the young ones. And so it's just a really good blend of old, experienced, just like seasoned veterans with new, just like green and just like getting shot out of a cannon. It's a really good blend. It almost makes the older ones feel a little younger, and the younger ones have a little bit, feel a little older. So it's really great. But Bree Kennedy, Reagan Johnson, Robin Heron, we have a lot that Jimmy Kramer, Reagan Kramer. She makes fun of me. I call her Jimmy Kramer. We have some really, really great veterans. And And so it's just been a really good blend.
That's all I have. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Next question.
I'll go ahead and ask. Coach, good another year to talk to you. How would you describe the personality of this team with so many new faces, those freshmen you were talking about? How would you describe the personality of this team this year?
Good question. I'm not sure I've ever been asked that all together of actually putting words to what their personality is. They are refreshingly like fun and competitive, like equally fun, equally competitive. And I think you'll see that. I mean, I think we've never really have. We're always kind of like you be you, but you're going to see a lot of personality on the field. And it makes it fun. It makes it competitive. It makes them engage with each other. It makes our fans engage with them. So you're going to see a lot of personality, outward personality of just really loving the game. And I think that's what this group does. They love the game. They love each other, but in that they have been so fun to coach. They want to be coached. And there's so much to be said for a group that wants to be coached because not all of them do. And so when you're here and they're just wanting to do anything they can to be better and they just want to be their best and they want to push each other for that. There's just something really refreshing in that. And I know it's been really fun for the staff for sure to just get to coach them. Did that answer your question, Eric?
Sure,
I hope.
pretty much. We'll
Okay, all
talk it a
right.
few times, so
Okay.
I
Okay.
want to. You mentioned the weather, obviously, because that impacts practice schedules. That impacts where you practice, indoors, outdoors. I'm always curious with the weather. How much does that impact, for example, things you work on? Like maybe you had an idea of working on certain things one day, but the weather causes you to change your mind. How often is that a big impact or a medium impact, or as far as maybe working on defensive drills or hitting drills, any of that?
Yeah, I think it changes it just I mean, everything changes. I also think softball people are some of the most flexible people on the planet when it comes to sports. And so you just kind of make the most of your day. I think what it does is it forces us to almost move a little slower, but like in a good way of just making sure that we're really focusing on doing those little things. Sometimes when you get back and you can get out on your field right away, you're just like, oh my gosh, cuts, relays, let's do all of it, do everything. And so it's just been really thoughtful, meaningful practices of just doing the little things really well. And so we've been pretty lucky. We can do everything in our indoor. If we need to get in football, we can, but just if we need to get some like bigger like reps for our outfield. But we also have one of the best grounds guys in the country, Austin Freeman. He has been working his tail off all weekend, and so it looks like we're going to get on our field hopefully the rest of the week. It's going to be in the 50s by the end of the week, and so it also just makes you appreciate being out there. And so I don't know, softball coaches, they'll always find something to do, even if we have just an 8x8 room. We're going to find something to do.
Something to do. My last question, I'll pass along to the rest of the crew is, do you have established leaders already? Is it evolves? How would you describe the leadership on the team?
Gosh, I think it's evolved. I think that we have a leadership council. So we have 5 members that are on our leadership council, and that's not where our leadership ends, which is really great. And so we have a lot that have really stepped up and just they kind of fill the gaps for each other. We're going to have someone that's going to be a lot more vocal, and we have some that are always going to push you. Like they're always going to run the rep just a little bit ahead of you. And then, like, come on, get me, of just like always making sure to push the people around them. And then you see leadership show up too. And Brie Ellis taking Ella Mcdal under her wing and just talking about hitting and talking about, you just see it in so many different shapes and forms. And so that's another piece that's just been really refreshing with this group. They just do a really good job of stepping up for each other and just making each other better.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. First of all, against that brick wall, you're not being held hostage. I mean, you're not there against your will. Everything's okay. Just
I
checking.
know. I actually could probably move out now. When I first sat down, this room's so awkward. There's like sun coming from every angle, and I was like, I'm just gonna put myself in the corner, like pin myself.
That's
It does
good.
look
That's a good
a
thought
little,
process.
it does look a little dungeon-like, but nope, I opted in.
You have not had a ton of position battles in recent years. Sometimes you may have a player you know that's going to get at bats, and it's just a matter of where. What do you have for position battles, and where do you plan on playing Wyckoff with all of her abilities?
I plan on playing Wyckoff. That's all, No, we have really great position battles. And I think we have really great depth, which gives us a lot of great options. And so, um, I think there's still a few that need to play out. There's still a few that you're gonna see multiple players there, and then you're gonna see Brie Ellis at first base. You're gonna see Kennedy Miller catch, but you're gonna see Wyckoff catch. And so it can take some of the reps off Ken, that it's so valuable. You're gonna see Reagan Johnson in center field. And so there's some that are um nothing's won out. Obviously, there's always going to be competition, but it's right now. It's like, okay, well, where does it make us the best to put Ella? Who's going to be healthy? Who's going to push her? Who's going to be the best combination? Carly Davison is so solid at second base. She's a tremendous defender, and so there's some things that are still shaking out. We have more depth than we've had, like really good, solid, like strong depth. And it's just it's fun. It's going to be a battle. I don't, sucks for whoever has to make the lineup. Just kidding. No, but
I'm
it'll
always
be,
willing to
it'll,
suggest, I always have my suggestions.
yeah. Oh, I know. But you'll see Kaylee behind the plate. You'll see Kaylee in right field. She can play left. She's going to DP a little bit. She could play first if we need her to. She's kind of just, she can do anything. So, and you're going to see her. You're going to see a lot of her.
What did you know, or what do you know now about your pitchers that you didn't know back on September 1st?
That they have guts. I knew that I saw that, in the recruiting process a little bit with our freshmen. I saw Robin Heron just, like the growth and the step she made, even just in last year, is tremendous. And she's still somehow flying under the radar on a lot of people's lists. But I I just, I think they have guts. I think they want the ball. I think that they have that look in their eyes, like they want to go after it. And it's not in a selfish way. They understand that they make each other better and that they need everybody. But I've liked how they've progressed. I really like how they fight. I like how they want the ball. You have to want the ball. You have to want the moment. And so I've just been really proud of what they've done so far. Obviously, we're going to be tested a ton through the season, but I think they're ready for that. And excited to go to battle with them.
Last thing, there's a lot of people around SEC basketball programs, men and women, are saying, my goodness, our conference is so tough now. It's even tougher than years before. And I keep saying, well, how about being a softball coach and adding those two schools rather than just men's basketball and women's basketball? Do you have a sense even how the league will elevate from years past with the scheduling, with the new teams and all that will come with a bigger league?
I think that we all have an idea and yet we have no idea until we're in it. I think that when you hear that with other sports, it's like, yep, that's been our life for a long time, of like all of our teams being in the top 25, top 30, typically RPI wise. We just added the, only 1 and 2, no big deal. But I think that it's, you coach in this conference, you play in this conference because you want to play the best. And you're adding 1 and 2. It's so strong throughout. And anytime you take the field, whether it's in conference or out of conference, this game's too good. Everybody's so good. It gets harder and harder to win. You have to be your best. You have to bring the best that you have that day because they're going to demand that from the other dugout. And so adding Oklahoma and Texas, yeah, they're tremendous. They played for the national championship last year. Like they're very good. The entire conference is strong. And so we know anytime we take the field that we're going to have to bring our absolute best. to get the job done every day.
I'll hop back in. We've talked to you about the SEC schedule. We haven't talked to you since we got the whole non-con. Um, what what do you think about just the slate that y'all have? I know I'm sure Andrew is excited to go back to Texas State right off the bat. Isn't that his alma mater?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you just think about
Yeah.
those? Listen, I try my best, but what do you think about those invitationals that you're in early on?
Well, I'm excited about it. I think there's a really good mix. I think that it's 4 weekends that prepare us for conference. It's 4 weekends that prepare us of what we're going to be made of as a team. And so I'm excited about it. I helped design it, so it's hard to say anything else. Matt's the mastermind of our scheduling, but I think it's a schedule that we're going to find out right away what we're made of, what we need to get, fixed and back on track and get ready for the long haul of the season. So it'll be good. Andrew's excited to go to Texas State. He and his wife are expecting in like the third week of our season. And so he has family out in California. And so usually he likes that tournament and he won't be able to probably go on that one. But right now he's like kind of eyeing that. It's like 2.5 weeks out from their due date. And so he's just like hoping he gets to get back there. So we'll see. We have a lot of babies around here. Makes it pretty fun. So it's another one on the way there.
Metaphorical babies. Your freshman class, you mentioned her that she was special, Ella Mcdowell. I'm just curious, how early in the recruiting process with her did you realize that you had a player that, can step in and make an impact right away?
First time we watched her. The first time we watched her. She's special. We had heard about her. And then you get to watch her and even though I can't even count how many games that we've watched her and Cam and Ash, they all play on the same team. And Ash is another one of the freshmen. She's just out this year because she tore ACL. But no matter how many times we watched her and how excited we were for her to be a Razorback and get here, she has still far exceeded any of our expectations. And our bar was really, really high. She is that kind of player. She is incredibly special on and off the field. Her level of motivation and just to be the best in everything that she does is just incredibly special. There's not a better word for it. She just doesn't know how to not do her best in everything that she does. If you could bottle that up and put it in everyone, if I could bottle that up and put it in my own boys, I would in a second. It's just really, really special. How she works, how she thinks, how she goes about her processes, how she approaches everything in life, the game, school, all of it. It's incredibly special.
Yeah, and you mentioned that her and Bree have, I guess, some sort of like I don't know if mentorship's the right word, but I remember talked to Ella in the summer and she said that she fangirled over Bree's just like attitude on the field, but went to some of y'all's fall scrimmage or exhibitions and they're both have huge personalities. Is that I guess having both of those on the field at the same time, what's that been like?
Well, it's entertaining. It's incredibly entertaining. But yeah, they've had, they're both from the same area and they're both from the same organization. And so, Bree's someone that Ella has watched play for a long time, just being that senior freshman age gap, you always watch that group ahead of you and you look up to them. She's also one of the best hitters that she's ever seen. And now you get to hit with her in the cages every day. And so I just, I think one of the coolest things is just seeing the mutual respect that they have for each other that I think has kind of opened Ella's eyes too, is Bree looks up to Ella just like Ella looks up to Bree, and I think that's what this team has. It doesn't matter what your class, they just have so much respect for each other and what Ella brings to the game and what Bree brings to the game. It's very different. Both of them are very, boisterous with their personalities. And And I will always tell them, yeah, you be exactly who you are. Like you be that. That's when you're going to be your best. And so I see them feeding off of each other. I see them with just huge smiles, loving the game. And I think they bring that out of each other and everyone around them.
Thanks, Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions?
You took correct me if I'm wrong. You took a team, one of your earlier first teams, to Mary Nutter, correct? At
Yeah, we
Arkansas.
used to go. They used to have 2 weekends of Mary Nutter. And the first weekend, I want to say they had Mary Nutter 1, Mary Nutter 2. I'm sure they had a fancier name than that. I don't remember. But the first one was always in the first couple weekends before we could host. And so we used to go out there all the time because the competition and the weather. And honestly, it's one of our easier ones to get to, and one of our, at that time it was one of our least expensive ones for whatever reason. I don't know why, small airport to small airport, but we loved it. And then they stopped doing that second one and only did that one. It was later in the year and the third weekend, which we usually host. And so this year we opted to go out there instead of host that third weekend, or third weekend of season, first weekend
Sure.
of hosting for us. Yeah.
And I would imagine you played there as well. Did you ever play in that in that field or no?
I think I might. When did it start? I think I might be too old for that.
I
I
don't
don't
think you're.
remember.
I don't think you're that. But what memories do you have from that facilities when you were there?
Um, I that tournament is so fun because there are just good games everywhere. I love good softball. I love good matchups. I love early season good matchups. And so you can see great softball everywhere. And it's really fun because just how it's attended, it's full, it's exciting. There's this really great energy to it. It's really well run. And so that's what I think of. It's just like this really fun, like that softball energy of like little girls and coming, and a bunch of travel ball teams that come and get to see these college teams play. And so we're looking forward to it. It'll be good.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.